this computer. Okay. Hello, this is Randy Rolfe, and I'm with the Institute for Creative Solutions, and I partner with Nikken. I'm an independent consultant with Nikken, and this is one of many live presentations that we offer, and they're also recorded each week to share about what our experiences have been with Nikken. It's not a corporate presentation, but rather by independent consultants. And today's is a product showcase. This is every Thursday at 11, and I've missed a couple because I've been on vacation in Canada. But today is January 19th, and I'm going to share some slides with you. Let me just pull them up. And I've been using Nikken products for over 19 years. They've kept me young and healthy, and even when I do injure myself, I recover more quickly. I don't take any medications because I'm healthy, and I've been teaching natural health for over 40 years. Keep my family healthy with good nutrition, good sleep, good mental attitude, lots of activity, and the Nikken lifestyle. There's nothing that can compare with having Nikken at your side, in your home, in your car, at your desk, and so on. Nikken's about discovering active wellness and living a life of in balance. And it's all about the daily decisions you make about your lifestyle. Choices lead to behavior, which lead to results. If you make poor lifestyle choices each day, you are going to suffer from stress and not achieve your potential. This slide shows you become a human under stress. If you make poor choices, if you make good choices, you become humans being more, which is the motto of Nikken ever since its beginning in 1975. So the daily choices and habits you create determine the quality of life, your health, even your relationships, your income, your success, and your ultimate happiness. It's all about small choices, not large choices. The context of Nikken is even a worse situation than it was 40 years ago when Nikken got its start in Japan, and worse than almost 20 years ago when I started Nikken. First of all, the stress has gotten larger. There's the physical stress of toxins, and then there's the mental stress of too much work and not enough rest and relaxation and sleep. And then the in-between stuff, from poor diet, rushed relationships, and so on. Stress is the silent killer. It's involved in all the major causes of early death, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and cancer, and also all those things that lower our quality of life: fatigue, allergies, poor sleep patterns, and weight gain. Sleep is critical. It's a worse problem than it's ever been before because of our 24/7 lifestyles. Many people work double shifts or late shift, or it shifts around, which is the worst. 70% of people say they have sleep issues. They have trouble falling asleep, trouble waking up, wake up in the middle of the night, can't get back to sleep, or tossing and turning, poor breathing problems, apnea, and so on. One poor night's sleep drops your immune system by 30 to 60%. We know this from scientific investigation. Of course, the toxins in our air and water, we've done a lot to clean them up with federal legislation and state actions at the state level. However, the indoor air has now become worse than the outdoor air because we bring so many chemicals into our house for cleansing and in our materials, even in our bedding, but in our carpets, in our curtains, even in our clothes and in our children's clothes, and so on. And in our closed houses, the positive ions build up and they make breathing harder. It's harder for the lungs to get hold of oxygen and so on. Flint, Michigan's incidents have really put a highlight on water contamination. People are buying bottled water, but that can be just as bad as tap water. It tastes better because they remove the chlorine, but it might not be any better as far as contaminants. They found over 260 contaminants in tap water, and yet many people are still relying on that. Many cities are now admitting that, like Flint, they have high lead and heavy metal contamination. So all of these things are going on around us, and the people that suffer most are our children. The health trends among children are astoundingly disturbing. 1 out of every 5 adolescents is obese. 30% of children are overweight, and we know they have inadequate intake of essential nutrients, and cardiovascular disease, cancer, and type 2 diabetes are starting at earlier and earlier ages. Less than half of adolescents are getting the amount of vegetables they need. Only 27.1% of high school children are getting enough activity. And low-income families, of course, have it worse, and there are many people in that category. 40% of our nation are considered low-income, and they often live in food deserts where there's no fresh produce available. They have higher levels of stress, of course, and depression, anxiety, and so on. Pardon that. So, what is the answer? It's humans being more. Be healthy by choice, not by chance, and choose active wellness. That's the active process through which we become aware of and make choices based on what we've learned to create a more successful existence. So enter Nikken. It's the only international company that has a totally comprehensive approach to holistic healthy life. And this involves living a life in balance. Healthy body, healthy mind, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. They add up to a healthy life overall. And if any one of them is compromised, the others start to suffer. That is the magic of those 5 pillars of health. If you're low on finances, it becomes hard to give your family what you want, to keep your mind at peace and happy, to keep your body healthy. If your body health gives up, then of course that affects everything else. If you don't like the work you're doing and you don't have time to contribute back to your community, that affects your mind and either your relationships as well as your health because of stress. So Nikken has developed an amazing line of products that's absolutely comprehensive for creating what I call the ultimate wellness environment for you, for your health, for your home, for your family. Nikken started out with products for energy during the day. Then they developed a sleep pad for nighttime, a water system that processes tap water back into what nature meant to give us from the ground: alkalized, mineralized, magnetized, purified water. Then they developed a line of nutritionals based on organic whole food. I like to call them food supplements, not nutritional supplements, because they're whole food as much as possible. We also deal with the sunlight. Many of our products have far infrared technology in them, which allows for more warming effect. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. So now I'm going to go over the individual products a little bit more, but we have special live presentations and recorded presentations that go into these technologies very deeply. I'll start on the right side of the video. The rest and relaxation is totally a product of Nikken's 40 years of research and development. Their first product was insoles for the shoes, so you feel like you're walking in the park or hiking on a beautiful mountain morning rather than sitting on a concrete block or in your car or high in an office building. That insole has not only the magnetic technologies replicating the Earth's natural magnetic field, which all living things do best in, but also far far infrared reflective energy and giving off the beneficial negative ions that improve breathing in our closed environment in the car or the home. Then there's the sleep pad, which I briefly mentioned, which is all natural material manufactured in the United States, and again gives you that wonderful cocoon feeling of the natural magnetic energy of the earth. And then the comforter gives you the far infrared reflective technology, which warms and alkalizes the body, and an ergonomic pillow, which does all of that same thing. So it's a total sleep environment, and we have so many wonderful results for actually literally millions of people have benefited with better, deeper, more restorative sleep. And then we have environmental products. The air system is extraordinary. I think there are only a few left of those in stock, but they're fantastic, and the filters will be available for many years. The water system I mentioned, it does everything nature does to cleanse the water. The shower system not only does that, but also shoots out micro bubbles that moisturize and cleanse the skin. And we have a wonderful full spectrum light system as well. But as I said, there's negative ions in most of our products that help with breathing. And then there's an amazing nutritional line. Having been a nutritionist for over 40 years, I really appreciate Nikken's holistic approach to food supplements. On the screen, you can see a box called Osteodens. That's one of our most unique products by Dr. Naidu, who's a world-famous microbiologist. And this was developed, it's the same large molecule from mother's milk that builds young bones properly, and we use it all our lives, but we get less and less of it in our bodies as we age, and this helps keep our bones and our whole mineral metabolism system youthful and working well. It's great. So you don't need to have those really dangerous bone medications that have such dangerous side effects. Then we have a whole line of nutritionals that cover all the major functions of the body and support them in a balanced way. So you don't have to be a nutritionist or a scientist or a doctor. You can just use the Nikken products as they're labeled for each function that you want to support. I take everything Nikken makes except the pet and the men's. And then we have an amazing line of skincare products. So I invite you to experience these products. And Nina Marie, I see you're there. If you're there, would you mind sharing a little bit about your experience with Nikken? I didn't get any other guests for this morning, so I would love to have you share if you're there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome.
I'm hiding because I'm wearing my cleaning the animals' cages and stuff. But
oh, okay. Well, Nina Marie is a dear friend from Nikken and has shared her experiences before on this call. But sorry you can't see her lovely face and hair, but she's very busy. But if you could share, you're working with animals, maybe you could share how Nikken can help with our animal friends.
Well, Nikken has really made a big change for all of my animals. My lizard was supposed to lose his tail 6 years ago, and I stuck a mag step in the aquarium, and the blood supply was able to go back into his tail, so he didn't have to have his tail cut off.
Wow.
And because they said it's a black tail, and if the tail isn't cut off, it would go into the black would go through the whole body and it would kill him. So I took a chance because they said if it doesn't get corrected, he will die because it'll completely run through his whole system. And when I took him back to the vivarium, they said, "Oh no, you don't have to cut his tail off. It's very much alive." So I was
wow.
Because lizards do not grow their tails back, because people say, well, you cut the lizard's tail off. Some creatures do grow their tails back, but the bearded dragons do not.
Oh.
So And I've had animals that were very sick, give them a mixture. I would give them the pie water, the liver support, the immunities, the lactoferrin, the J-green enzyme, Ciaga, and some of the pie water. And it will help detox them as well as ourselves, and get them on the path to getting healthier. Some of the animals that were not eating and very sick, give them that mixture, and within a couple of days, they were able to eat and get better.
Oh, that's neat. It's just wonderful that we can help the animals. We enjoy them so much, but they're really exposed to the same kinds of stresses and indoor living that we are, and to be able to give them that good nutrition and the magnetic support is amazing with Nikken.
Yeah, well, even I've had my Rottweiler in the past. She had hurt her hips, and so she couldn't use her back legs, and just having the pet pad in her bed bounced her right back up. Because the vet had said to me, well, you know, when those dogs get to a certain age, they have these problems, and then you have to deal with them later. And between the joint formula and the pet pad, she had a better quality of life, and she's able to run on all fours. So I've had so many animal testimonies as well as people testimonies. And I tell people I've taken these technologies to the test, and Nikken has passed every test I've taken them to.
That's wonderful. We have so many large dogs that the sleep pad and the joint help so much. That's a great story. I know one friend there, they had already dug a grave in the back of the lawn, and the dog, once they got the pad for their big dog, he was running up and down stairs and had another couple of years of life.
Yeah, it really does make a difference, and a lot of us do not value, you know, a natural way of living until something happens, and then you're able to see with your own eyes that miracles happen when you put your body in the environment it's supposed to be in, the way it was designed to be in. But a lot of us don't credit that.
So well said, Nina Marie, and it's fun to hear the animal stories, especially because they don't read the literature, they don't watch the videos, and they don't have any placebo effect. It either works or it doesn't, and so it's even more miraculous to watch how it helps them.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I had a police dog in 1999 when I first started trying these technologies, because I really didn't believe they would really work. And that's why I took all Nikken's technologies to a test. And a friend of mine, because I was really sick, and when I got better, she had said to me that this police dog, he was one of their best drug dogs, and he wasn't able to work anymore because his hind legs wouldn't work. And he had jumped out of a building and broke his hips. And the vets tried to bring him back, and they said, he's retired. This dog will never be back to work, and he's never going to be the same. And so my girlfriend says, well, do you think this stuff could help this dog? And I said, I don't know, because I never guarantee anybody anything. And so she says, well, get whatever the dog needs, and we'll pay you. So I said, well, let's get the pet pad and see if that's going to help him. And so we got the pet pad, and she was going to come and get it. I said, no, I want to see the dog myself. And she says, okay. So he comes over, and they're in front of my shop, and she had said to me, I think this is all placebo. And so, because I said, you know, placebos are good. And so then I went to get my Mag Boys, and I started rubbing the dog. And I asked the officer, after 20 minutes of rubbing this dog, he was, you know, shaking his body, and he was sitting there in position. And I asked him, I said, what hasn't this dog been able to do? And he says he hasn't been able to, you know, jump a fence, get in the car, or, you know, jump. You can't jump, or you can't climb or anything. So I asked him, I says, can you do me a favor and command him to go in your truck? And he says, my girlfriend goes, Nina, he's going to walk with his front legs. He's going to drag his rear legs, and he's going to put his paw up so we can lift him in the truck. And I said, but I did a treatment on him, so I want to see if anything has come from that. And so my girlfriend kind of laughed at me. So I did. They did. They commanded the dog to jump in the truck. So the dog jumped up on all fours. He shook his body, and he ran to the back of the truck, and he jumped in. So now I got everybody's attention. Their eyes are really big,
Yes.
looking at me. And so he takes the dog out of the truck, and he puts him on the corner where my salon is. And he commands him, because he only understands German, again, to jump in the truck. So he runs and jumps in the truck. Now he's walking the dog down the street. He takes the dog out of the truck. He's walking him down the street. The dog is walking on all fours. I was shocked myself because I had never seen anything like that. And I was trying the technologies to see how they really worked. So he walks all the way down, and he comes back up, and he's stuttering. He says, he didn't know what to say. He hadn't done this. And then I looked at my girlfriend, and I said, you know what? She had her arms crossed up against the building. And I said, you're right. It is a placebo. You know, that dog did know he was going to jump in the truck. And the dog had been off work almost a year, and he went to work the very next day. And he made the biggest drug bust that they had in Pleasanton at that time. And they were he was a drug dog. And they said, you know, we are amazed, we're excited, we can't believe it. And he's just speechless. And then it was funny, because then months down the road, they were doing an experiment with the car, and the dog was not in the car, but they blew up the car. And the pet pad was in the car, because they carried the pet pad. I told him, I said, take that pet pad wherever, because you know, the dog was not getting enough energy. He was in buildings and cars and houses. And so he wasn't getting enough energy from the grass, you know, the Earth's magnetic energy. So I said, make sure he keeps that pad with him at all times. Well, he didn't think about it. When the car blew up, the pet pad was in there, and they didn't think about it. And the dog went back to not walking again with his back legs. And then the officer says, oh my God, you know what? That pet pad was in the car. So he went to go find it, because, you know, they had the cars in a certain area that had all blown up. He went to go find it. He found the pet pad and stuck the dog back on the pet pad. And he says the dog jumped right back up and was able to walk. He says, this stuff is amazing. I don't know how it works, but my dog's back. So it's pretty fascinating what these technologies can do. I mean, I could sit here for a couple of days and give you testimonies on animals and people. But
that's such a great story. The police dogs are so important. They give us so much, and what a great story.
It was one of my first. That was one of my first adventures, was the police dog.
Yeah, you never forget the first dramatic experience you have with these products. Yeah, I had a friend who'd broken her ankle, and the doctor said she had post-traumatic stress in her ankle, and she'd have to have it fused, and she couldn't walk upstairs, and gave her a magnetic wrap. I said, you know, what can you lose? You might as well try it. And she said, well, I've been to the best experts on the East Coast. This isn't going to do anything. I called her 2 weeks later, and she said, I didn't want to call you because I didn't want to jinx it, but it looks like the problem's gone. I'm going up and down stairs without pain. So, you know, I'll never forget that story, because that was like, I didn't have any big complaints to resolve, and I was sleeping better. I knew that, but she was my first real drama. And you never forget that, do you?
No, you don't, you know. Yeah, I've got lots of testimonies. You know, I broke my neck 16 years ago, and I was paralyzed, and they didn't know if I'd walk again. But technologies helped keep my body in balance, and was able to bounce back and do my own therapy, and here I am today.
That's wonderful. Yes, I know you shared the longer story of your personal journey. It's just amazing what you've experienced. Well, thanks for sharing about your animals. I think we're at half an hour now. I really appreciate you jumping on, Nina Marie, and being my guest today, sharing your stories. So thank you very much. And let me just finish my little show here. So it's all about discover it and live it. Start somewhere, get the insoles, get the sleep system, start on the joint supplement or the Jade Green Zyme drinks or the wonderful energy tea we have or the wonderful powder that helps maintain good weight or lose weight if you want. But just get started somewhere. And if you fall in love with it, like I'm sure you will if you try the products, you can share it and you make a part-time income with it to add to your other income or even make a whole career of it. So please get back with the person who recommended this video and they'll show you all the options with Nikken. But Nikken is the great advantage for wellness today. And thanks for joining us. Let me stop my recording and I'm sorry I started late, but thanks for joining us. And thanks, Donna Marie, for your stories.
Thank you.